Compare Lu 2. 22-24. X 13. 2. Lu 12. 8. Lu 3. 3-6. Issa 40. 3-5. Lu 7. 27. Mal 3. 1. Lu 4. 4, 8, 12. Lu 8. 3. 6. 13, 16. Lu 4. 18, 19. Issa 61. 1, 2. Further testifying to the book's authenticity is the fulfillment of Jesus' prophecy concerning the destruction of Jerusalem and its temple. Lu 19. 41-44. 21. 5, 6. Luminary. A source of light. Or lamp. A heavenly body from which the earth receives light. The Genesis account relates that during the fourth creative day, God caused luminaries to come to be in the expanse of the heavens. Ge 1. 14, 19. This does not indicate the coming into existence of light Heb. Or itself, since this is shown to have existed previously. Ge 1. 3. Nor does it state that a sun, moon, and stars were created at this point. The initial verse of the Bible states, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth." Ge 1. 1. Thus the heavens with their celestial bodies, including the sun, existed for an undetermined period of time prior to the processes and events stated as occurring during the 6 creative periods described in the following verses of the first chapter of Genesis. It should be noted that, whereas Genesis 1 states that God created Heb, Ra the heavens and the earth in the beginning, verses 16 and 17 state that, during the fourth creative day, God proceeded to make Heb. A form of the middle dots are the 2 great luminaries, the greater luminary for dominating the day and the lesser luminary for dominating the night, and also the stars. Thus God put them in the expanse of the heavens to shine upon the earth. The Hebrew word a middle dots, often translated make, can mean simply to establish 2 7. 11. A point to 15. 1. Form Ge 18. 4. Or prepare Ge 21. 8. Thus the record here states what the already existing sun, moon, and stars now became in relation to planet Earth. On the first day a light Heb evidently gradually penetrated the cloud layers still enveloping the Earth and would have become visible to an earthly observer, had he been present. Ge 1. 3. On the fourth day things changed. The statement that God put them in the expanse of the heavens on that day expresses the fact that God caused the sources of light Heb, namely, the sun, moon, and stars, to become discernible in the expanse. Their purpose was to make a division between the day and the night and to serve as signs and for seasons and for days and years. In addition to being signs of God's existence and majesty, by their movements such luminaries enable man to mark accurately the natural seasons, days, and years. Ge 1. 14-18. PS 74. 16. 148. 3. The same Hebrew word mar is used with reference to the light-bearing equipment in the tabernacle, which employed lighted oil as the means for producing illumination. X 25. 6. 27. 20. 35. 8, 14, 28. La 24. 2. New 4. 9 at Proverbs 15. 30. It is used figuratively in the expression brightness of the eyes. Egypt is prophetically warned of a withdrawal of all light by Jehovah's darkening and beclouding all the luminaries form of Mara of light are in the heavens. S 32. 2, 7, 8. Lut. The Hebrew word shah-lish seems to be related to a root signifying 3. Compare X 14. 7, ftn. Hence, the plural form shah-shim at 1 Samuel 18. 6 has been variously translated as instruments of 3 o text to acute muritra longo. Lysanus 285. After chapter 1 of the book of Judges, the name Luz is no longer used. See Bethel number 1. The Hebrew word luz corresponding to the name of the town is also used at Genesis 30:37 with reference to the almond tree staffs used by Jacob. 2. The name of a city built in the land of the Hittites by man of Bethel Luz, who cooperated with Israelite fighters of the house of Joseph in bringing about the fall of Bethel. Like Rahab and her family, he and his family were allowed to go unharmed. But, different from Rahab and perhaps indicating that the basis for his services rendered was not a genuine fear and appreciation of Jehovah the God of Israel, the man did not seek to associate himself with Israel, preferring to go to Hittite country and there built his city, which he named Luz, doubtless in memory of his hometown. The Bible does not dignify him by naming him as it does Rahab. JG 1:23-26 Some consider it likely that the name of the city at least is reflected in the ruins of El Lawis, about 20 kilometers 12 miles of Sidon. Lycaonia like a region in Asia Minor where the Lycaonian language was spoken. Act 14. 6-11 The boundaries of Lycaonia fluctuated considerably throughout its history and are uncertain. Basically, in the period during which Lycaonia figured in the Bible record, it lay in the southern part of the Roman province of Galatia and was bounded by Pisidia and Phrygia on the W, Cappadocia on the E, and Cilicia on the S. This area consists of a treeless plain having limited water. Anciently, though, it was reasonably productive and furnished sufficient pasturage for a large number of sheep. The Apostle Paul visited Derbe and Lystra, two cities of Lycaonia, during the course of his first and second missionary journeys. He may also have stopped there on his third missionary tour as he traveled from place to place through the country of Galatia. Act 14. 6, 20, 21. 16. 1. 18. 23. Lycia Lycia Mount Venus region on this coast of Asia Minor. To the NW of Lycia Lake area. To the N, Phrygia and Pisidia. And to the NE, Pamphylia. The mountains in the territory of ancient Lycia are spurs of the Taurus range. Particularly in the eastern half of the region, they rise almost directly from the coast. The river valleys, chief of which is that of the Xanthus modern Cocha, are fertile. Vegetation thrives on the hills, and the mountain slopes provide pasture for sheep. Two Lycian cities, Patara and Myra, are specifically mentioned in connection with the Apostle Paul's travels. But there is no record of his doing any preaching there. Act 21. 1. 27. 5. Lydda. Lydda is identified with a modern Lod in the plain of Sharon about 18 kilometers 11 miles of Joppa. At Lydda, Peter healed paralyzed Aeneas. This miracle caused many in the vicinity to accept Christianity. Act 9. 32-35, 38 Lydda is considered to be the same as Lod. 1 Ch 8. 12, C Lod. Lydia A. This woman and her household were among the first persons in Europe to accept Christianity as a result of the Apostle Paul's activity at Philippi in about 50 CE. Originally she lived at Thyatira, a city in Asia Minor known for its dyeing industry. Later, at Philippi in Macedonia, Lydia sold purple, either the dye or garments and fabrics colored therewith. It appears that she was the head of her household. This could include slaves and servants, and therefore, she was possibly widowed or single. Act 16. 14, 15. A worshipper of God, Lydia probably was a Jewish proselyte. It may be that there were few Jews and no synagogue at Philippi, so that on the Sabbath day she and other devout women assembled by a river outside the city. When the Apostle Paul preached to these women, Lydia listened attentively. After being baptized along with her household, she entreated Paul and his companions to stay with her, saying, "If you men have judged me to be faithful to Jehovah, enter into my house." O texto e acute miritra longo. Lysias 286. An inscription from the time of Tiberius Caesar found there commemorates a temple dedication by a freedman of Lysanias the Tetrarch. Corpus Inscriptionum Graecorum, Volume 3, No. 4521. Because Josephus refers to Lysanias executed about 34 BCE by Mark Antony at Cleopatra's instigation, some have charged Luke with inaccuracy. Jewish Antiquities, 15. 92-4-1. However, Luke did not err, for the Lysanias he mentions is not the same person as the earlier Lysanias the son of Ptolemy who, before being executed, ruled, not Abilene, but nearby Chalcis, and who is not called a tetrarch. Lysias. See Claudius Lysias. Lystra. A city of Lycaonia, a region in the south-central part of Asia Minor. Lystra has been identified with a mountain to the end of Hatunsere, situated in a fertile, well-watered area about 32 km 20 MSSW of Kenya Iconium. It was to Lystra in the Roman province of Galatia that the Apostle Paul and Barnabas came after being forced to leave Iconium because of an attempt to have them stoned. The city was then a Roman colony, having earlier been made such by Augustus. The native inhabitants, however, continued to speak the Lycaonian language. After Paul healed a man lame from birth, the crowds concluded that he and Barnabas were incarnated gods, Hermes and Zeus. Barely were they able to restrain the people from sacrificing to them. Later, however, Jews from Iconium and Pisidian Antioch so stirred up the inhabitants of Lystra against Paul that they stoned him and dragged his body outside the city, imagining him to be dead. Afterward, when surrounded by fellow Christians, Paul got up, entered Lystra, and then, accompanied by Barnabas, left the next day for Derbe. Acts 14. 1, 5-20. Subsequent to their activity at Derbe, Paul and Barnabas returned to Lystra, Iconium, and Antioch. They strengthened and encouraged the disciples associated with the newly established Christian congregations in those cities and appointed older men. Acts 14. 21-23. Later, after the circumcision issue was settled by the apostles and older men of the Jerusalem congregation c. 49 CE, Paul again visited Derbe and Lystra. The reference to this at Acts 16. 1 could be understood to mean that the young man Timothy resided at either Lystra or nearby Derbe. But the evidence seems to favor Lystra. For while Derbe is not mentioned again in connection with Timothy, Acts 16. 2 specifically states that Timothy was well reported on by the brothers in Lystra and Iconium. See also 2t3. 10, 11. Timothy had made such good progress that Paul chose him as a traveling companion. Acts 16. 3. When the Apostle Paul visited various places in the country of Galatia on his third missionary tour, he may also have stopped at Lystra. Acts 18. 23. Makamara Middledotka. The name of several persons in the kingdom. 1-9. Possibly from a root meaning squeeze 1. A child born to Nahor, Abraham's brother, by his concubine Reumah. The child was evidently a male, as a kingdom and its inhabitants derived their name from this person. GE 22. 23, 24. 2 10. 6, 8. 2. Wife of the Manasseh Makkah. 1 ch 7. 14-16. 3. One of the concubines of Caleb the son of Hezron, who bore several of his children. 1 ch 2. 18, 48, 49. 4. The wife of Jael the father of Gibeon. 1 ch 8. 29. 9. 35. 5. One of David's wives and the daughter of Dolmai the king of Geshur. She was Absalom's mother. 2 3. 2, 3. 1 ch 3. 1, 2. 6. Father or ancestor of Hanan, a mighty man of David's military forces. 1 ch 11. 26, 43. 7. Father or ancestor of Shephatiah, a prince of Israel appointed leader of the Simeonites in David's organization of the king's service. 1 ch 27. 1, 16, 22. 8. Father of Achish, king of Gath, to whom Shimei's slaves fled early in Solomon's reign. 1 Chi 2. 39. This Makkah may be the same person as Ma'ok of 1 Samuel 27. 2. See Ma'ok. 9. Absalom's granddaughter, who was the most beloved wife of Judin or Textoi acute Miritra Longo, Marcia 287 horrible idol to the sacred pole, or the Asherah. 1 Chi 15. 9-13. 2 ch 15. 16. She is called Micaiah 2 Chronicles 13. 2. 10. A petty kingdom in existence in Palestine at the time of the Israelite invasion, also called Mu'akath. The territory of the tribe of Manasseh evidently was to embrace this area, but the record shows that the Israelites did not dispossess the inhabitants of that land, so they kept dwelling in the midst of Israel. 3. 14. Jos 13. 13 generally associated with the neighboring kingdom of Jeshurun, Makkah appears to have been located to the end of that kingdom and to have bordered on the region of Bashan. Jos 12. 5. It is usually considered to have occupied the area running from the southern slopes of Mount Hermon down to the Hula Basin and from the Jordan River eastward to the edge of the Syrian desert, or, basically, the northern part of the present district of Golan. Makkah was an Aramean Syrian kingdom, its people perhaps descending from Nahor, son of the same name. GE 22. 24. 1 ch 19. 6. When the Ammonites went to war against King David, they hired the services of the king of Makkah, along with others. The small number of troops provided by Makkah, as compared with those of the other allies, may indicate the small size of the Mu'akkatite kingdom. 2 10. 6-8 Joab's victory over the Ammonites and their Syrian allies was followed up by a further victory over the Syrians by King David. 2 10. 13-19 From later accounts it seems likely that the kingdom of Makkah eventually came under the domination of the kingdom of Damascus. Mu'akath. See Makkah no. 10. Mu'akkatite Aka of belonging to Mu'akath the town. Inhabitant of the Aramean kingdom of Makkah. 3. 14. Jos 12. 5. 13. 13, one of these being Eshtemoa. 1 ch 4. 19 It is suggested that Abel Beth Makkah, meaning watercourse of the house of Makkah, a town in Palestine, may have been so named because of its proximity to the region occupied by the Mu'akkatites. 1 Chi 15. 20. Madai Dar, a shortened form of Mahdia. An Israelite among the sons of Bani who had accepted foreign wives, but sent them away in Ezra's day after the Jews returned from Babylonian exile. Ez 10. 25, 34, 44. Mahdia Dajadex himself. A priest and head of a paternal house accompanying those returning from Babylon with Zerubbabel. Ne 12. 1, 5 Modia mentioned at Nehemiah 12. The 17th of May be the same person. Mari. A priest and musician who descended from Asaph and played an instrument of song at the inauguration of Jerusalem's wall in Nehemiah's time. Ne 12. 36. Mara Rathcave. Or, Bearfield. A town assigned to the tribe of Judah. Jos 15. 21, 59 A site near the village of Beit Umar in the hill country of Judah, 11 km 7 mi of Hebron, is considered to be the probable location. Some suggest that Ma'arath may be a variant name of Meroth. Mic 1. 9, 12. Masai Mara possibly a shortened form of Marcia. A priest and descendant of Immer, who returned from Babylonian exile. 1 ch 9. 10, 12. Marcia Cr work of Jehovah. 1. Levite musician of the 2nd Division who played a stringed instrument when the Ark of Jehovah was brought from the house of Obed-Edom to Jerusalem in David's day. 1 ch 15. 17-20, 25. 2. One of the chiefs of hundreds who entered the covenant with high priest Jehoiada in connection with establishing Jehoshaphat as Judah's rightful king in place of the usurper Athaliah. 2 ch 23. 1. 3. An officer under the control of Hananiah, a prince of Judah's king Uzziah. He evidently had to do with the registration of Uzziah's military forces. 2 ch 26. 11. 4. The son of the king and offspring of Judean king Ahaz, or possibly an official of royal descent who was killed by the Ephraimite Zitri when Pekah of Israel invaded Judah. 2 ch 28. 1, 6, 7. 5. The chief of the city of Jerusalem and one of the men King Josiah sent to repair a text to acute Muritra Longo, Mark 288, 11. A priest of the sons of Pasha, also among those sending their foreign wives away. As 10. 22, 44. 12. An Israelite of the sons of Pahath Moab, among those dismissing their foreign wives. As 10. 25, 30, 44. 13. Father or ancestor of a certain Azariah, one of the repairers of Jerusalem's wall under Nehemiah's supervision. Ne 3. 23. 14. A man who stood at Ezra's right hand when he read the law to the Israelites assembled in Jerusalem. Ne 8. 2, 4. 15. A Levite who assisted the priest Ezra by explaining the law to the Israelites gathered in Jerusalem. Ne 8. 7. 16. One of the heads of the people whose descendant, if not he himself, attested by seal the trustworthy arrangement of Nehemiah's time. Ne 9. 38. 10. 1, 14, 25. 17. A man of Judah who resided in Jerusalem after the return from Babylonian exile. Ne 11. 4, 5. He may be identical with the sayer of 1 Chronicles 9. 5. CSA no. 4. 18. A man of Benjamin who was an ancestor of Salu, a resident of Jerusalem in Nehemiah's time. Ne 11. 7. 19. A priest who participated in the dedication of Jerusalem's wall in the time of Nehemiah. Ne 12. 41. 20. Another priest participating in the dedication of the wall of Jerusalem in Nehemiah's day. Ne 12. 42. Marath. One of Jesus' ancestors listed in his genealogy as given by Luke. Luke 3. 23, 26. Maaz shortened form of Ahimaaz. One of Judah's descendants through Dramiel and Ram. 1 Ch 2. 3, 25, 27. Maazumar middle Ch Jehovah is a stronghold. 1. The descendant of Aaron who was made head of the 24th course of priests in David's day. 1 Ch 24. 1, 18. 2. One of the priests, or a forefather of one, who attested by seal the trustworthy arrangement of Nehemiah's time. Ne 9. 38. 10. 1, 8. Macedonia, Macedonian Mac N. A region of Europe occupying the central part of what is now known as the Balkan Peninsula. It extended from the Adriatic Sea on the W to the Aegean Sea on the E, and lay in Aegae. Although having numerous fertile plains, this is chiefly a mountainous area. Anciently, Macedonia served as a vital link between the east and the west. The Roman-built Via Egnatia ran from Dyrrhachium and Apollonia on the W coast of the peninsula to Neapolis on the E coast, and beyond. The Macedonians were descendants of Japheth, perhaps through Kittime the son of Javan. Ge 10. 2, 4, 5. Although primarily associated with the island of Cyprus, the name Kittime was anciently also used to refer to other areas. The historian Josephus writes that the Hebrews called the islands and most of the seacoasts apparently those in the Mediterranean area Chethim. Jewish Antiquities, I, 128-6, 1. This may account for Macedonia's being called Sethim in the apocryphal book of 1 Maccabees 1. 1 Die. KX and provides a possible basis for considering the Macedonians to have been descendants of Kittime. History. Macedonia attained prominence